Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's section. Thank you for joining us and for making time to be a part of this learning experience. My name is Salma Lasise, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. We are excited to have everyone around today, and we are starting right now. Also, the section will be recorded, so it's something you can always have access to. It's going to be recorded. Yeah, so this section is powered by your BZEDGE and in collaboration with MHS Analytics, and we are consulting and training. So when it comes to in-depth Microsoft Excel and analytics, and also for Power BI and also financial modeling. So we're taking in training for Excel, Power BI, and financial modeling. Either you want a physical class or online class, we have a way of designing it to suit in for any of the aspects, every weekend on or daily on this. So also we also have online classes. So if you want something to be at your own like time and things, so we have online courses. We have for Excel, for we have different one for Excel. We have the business data analysis with Microsoft Excel. We also have for financial modeling course too, also for Power BI. Okay, so we also have the emissions analysis, which is in Canada. So still the same thing for the business intelligence part, Power BI, and also for Excel. So it's not only about training. So when it comes to any consultant on any of your projects, we also work on projects too, and financial projects, Power BI projects, Excel projects. We do those. So this. So for today's section. For today's section, we'll be having Quzeem Olamide. And okay, let me just try to. So today webinar topic is BI in Excel. So we are saying that everybody's talking about Power BI, the business intelligence part. So we want to do the same business intelligence in Excel using the automated dashboard with Power Query and Power Pivots. For today, we'll be having Quzeem Olamide, who is going to take today's webinar. So I'm just going to go through the speaker profile. So Quzeem Olamide is a BI and business analyst with hands-on experience in the marketing industry, where he has supported operations, analytics, reporting, automation, and the development of decision support dashboard. He is a Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst and Fabric data engineering associate, bringing both technical expertise and practical business understanding to his analytics work. Beyond his own analytics work, Olamide is a technical writer and educator with a passion for simplifying complex data concepts. He has author analytics article, deliver one-on-one coaching, and created learning resources for as well as practical data professionals. Is dedicated to helping businesses and individuals enhance data efficiently for growth, clarity, and better decision making. So I'm going to handing over to our speaker now. But before doing that, I just want to encourage everybody to be so if there is any question, you can drop or like can drop and then we can going to go it. And also the recording is going to be active. Like we're going to it's going to be active on our YouTube channel after today's section. So you can always go back to it. So now I'm going to hand over to Quzeem Olamide to take us through today's section. So over to you, Quzeem.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Thank you for the kind introduction, Salma. So let me proceed to share my screen and get started. Okay, so this is good. Yeah, so this is nice. So, okay, I hope you can see my screen, Salma.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So actually, today's topic is meant to be replicating Power BI workflow in Excel, building automated dashboard with Power Query and Power BI. But Meetup has a character word limit, so this is what we are talking with for today. So now that is said, let's move on to the agenda. Okay, I'm here to present from current slide. Yeah, this is good. So for today's agenda, before we, move on to replicating the Power BI workflow in Excel, we are going to be talking about the Power BI workflow to better understand, what we are going to replicate. And then we move on to the why, like, why do we need to replicate this workflow in Excel? And then we move on to the how the workflow should be replicated. And it will also, if time permits, we will do a little bit of wireframing to better give the workflow the Power BI framing structure it's going to we are going to be doing, and then we'll move on to the limitations and then the live demo. So before I proceed, I'm just going to show us the end goal for today. So this is this is the workflow we are going to replicate in, and it kind of looks like it was made in Power BI. So it's quite responsive. I can't find my mouse. Okay. Okay, so this is 1997. So I'm going to switch to 1998. You see it's quite responsive. I'm switching to Canada and then it's responding. I'm going to clear. So that's about it. So we are going to, this is the end goal actually for today. This is the workflow we are trying to replicate. And let's just get to it. So I'm going to be opening a new Excel file for us. Okay, this is nice. So first thing first, it's meant to come here. So this is the slideshow from current slide. So now, what is the Power BI workflow? So just like any business intelligence tool, they follow the same structure here. And if you are talking about business intelligence tool, they are basically software app that supports data collection from various sources, your local file like CSV, your XLS, SQL in cloud services, even the one your local and API. So BI tools kind of like, allow us to collect data from different sources, transform them, and this data we brought from different sources, we are going to model them and we visualize and then we publish. So that's kind of like explaining it about business intelligence workflow. And since Power BI is also a BI tool, it follows a similar workflow. And this is going to be the workflow we are going to be, replicating for today. So now, why do we want to replicate this supposed Power BI workflow in Excel? For me, I'm going to be starting with the last one, which is on the right. Basically, because we can, and then it's fun. So once we are, exploring the BI stack we have in Excel through the Power Query and Power Pivot comes adding, you get to realize that all these features are kind of like being underutilized in the data world, and us like going through them is going to even make analytics more enjoyable. And looking at it from a business standpoint, everybody wants Power BI in their team, everybody wants Power BI license in their department, but the reality is not every company has that budget. So from a business standpoint, your team, might not have a Power BI license, but they still need to, do a little bit of something that is related to Power BI or like Power BI standard. So it's something that can be done, with in Excel, and we're going to be doing that today. And lastly, another reason top of my head is ad hoc request analysis. All these last minute requests, to do something. The end products are always in Excel. So even though you did them in Power BI, you still need to like export to Microsoft Excel for the end user. So these are like it basically three reasons for me why one might need to replicate the Power BI workflow in Excel. So moving on to the how. How do we do this? So first thing first, something peculiar to Power BI is that it supports data connections to different sources, and that's like the first hurdle we need to scale through in replicating the Power BI workflow here in Excel. So we are going to be doing that with Power Query. So 2013, 2016, and later version of Excel, Power Query kind of became a built-in feature. And we are going to be exploring that to connect to different data sources, and we are going to be also using that to transform our data. So now, if you've done with the transformation, which brings us back to the third part of the Power BI workflow, which is the modeling data, it begs the question to ask that, okay, now I've brought this unrelated or related data together from different sources. How do I have them talk to each other? Do I still need to write SLOOKUP, VLOOKUP? No, we don't need to do that. We are going to be enabling the Power Pivot comms add-in, and then we are going to be doing the data modeling to build relationship, also define measures and write DAX, something which is quite, let's say, peculiar to Power BI. Now we are going to be doing that here in in Excel. And lastly, we talk about visualizing the last part of the Power BI, the second to the last part of the Power BI workflow, which is share, which is visualization. So we are going to be visualizing here, with a little bit of tricks, charts, and slicers, and then we're going to be using like a wireframe to give it more of a Power BI dashboard standard. So I would love for us to move on to the limitations, but I want us to, you know, do the workflow and everything, and then once we are done, we are going to talk about the limitations. So now let's just get to it. So like I did before, I'm just going to show us um what we are going to do. So this is the end goal, actually. This is the end goal. So all these was done in Excel. And if it's looking like Power BI, then you can see what I'm talking about. So I have this, my slicers on the left, and then I'm clicking on them and chat are responsive. Okay. I'll click on Mexico also, and then we can see what's going on. Same thing with USA and the likes. Click on 1998, and we can see everything is responding. Boils down to the card visuals here, and this trend line visuals we kind of like have here. So let's just get to the demo itself. And so I'm going to open a new file, a new Excel file. So I'm going to be bringing up, I'll go to the data tab to access the Power Query. We go to the data tab and you find the Power Query. Why you won't see Power Query literally in the data tab, it's synonymous to get and transform data group. So it is here. I'm going to be doing get data. So the data we're going to be connecting today, let me show us. We are going to be using the format data. One is a folder which contains the data for 1997 and 1998. We are going to be connecting to that through Power Query. And also here, we also have the lookup table and then the food mass returns, which is a table for all data 1997, 1998 for all products returned. So I'm going to click on get data. First thing first, I'll do folder. I want to connect to the transaction folder. So this is it here. So one thing peculiar about connecting to data sources in Power Query is that you need to be, mindful of what you pick. So for now, I pick a folder. So that is what is going to connect to. If I pick a folder and then I was meant to, and I want to connect to an Excel file, I won't see the Excel file here. So like I showed you guys before, there are two Excel files here, but because I didn't pick an Excel file to connect to, I'm not going to see them here. So I'm just going to go back and then click on the transaction folder and then click on open. So you will have a navigator window pop up in just about a minute. So now we could see the files we have in that particular folder, the 1997 CSV and the 1998 CSV. So I'm going to do a combine and transform. Takes a while, but it's going to load. Okay. So I'm okay with this. I'm going to click on OK. Okay, so while it's load, irrespective of the kind of data source we connect to, we will always have the navigator window, and from there we are going to land here. So if we notice, the data we bring in is a transaction folder, and Power BI has helped us in combining them. So we also have these guys. So we need to bring in the other data sources we have, the lookups table and the return. So I'm going to click on new source file. They are CSV. So that's what I'm going to be picking. So I'll start with the store lookup. Click on import. I'll click on OK. So new source file, text and CSV region. So irrespective of the data source, once we connect to them, we are going to have this navigator window that is going to pop up. Yeah, this navigator window I'm talking about. So I'm going to click on OK. I'm not done. So one thing I'm hoping Microsoft does in the nearest future is to allow us to connect to multiple CSV files without having to, like select them one by one since they are unrelated. So I'll also bring in the product lookup.
So we know where we are. So what we need to do is just to not a bad idea whereby if
So
uh,
customer lookup. Someone kindly help me mute the person talking. So customer lookup. So yeah. So and for the last one, we bring in the returns table. Okay. So this is nice. I'm going to, close this folder. I'll start this transaction. So I'm going to remove this column. I don't need it. It was created by a Power Query, so I'm going to remove. Okay. And I'm also not, I don't feel good with the transformation Power BI is done for us in as regarding detecting the data type. So just to confirm, I'm going to be removing that and then I'll do it again myself. So I'm going to remove. Okay, so I'll do auto detect for this guy. Transform, detect data type, so switch the numbers. So for me, any supposed data type that is numeric, that when we do aggregation on them, we can't get any meaningful insights. I consider them text. So I'm going to be treating the product ID and customer ID as text data type. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Right click, change type and text. And since I have a bit contextual knowledge that this our data source comes from the United States, so I'm going to be changing the data type using the locale. So I'm going to right click, change type, and then using locale. So it takes a while for it to pop up. So we just wait. Yeah, this is good. So it is not text, and then it is date. And the locale is not English Nigeria, it is English USA. So I'm going to look for English United States. Yeah, so this is good. So this works for me. Let's see if there are any other transformation that needs to be done here. Okay, for now, there's none. So going to the store lookup, let's see what might need to be done. Same thing, like I said before, I'm not comfortable having numeric data type that when I perform aggregation of them, there is no meaningful insights to be gotten from there. So I'm going to be removing this. So for the store ID and region ID, they'll be formatted as text. So yeah, so this works for me. Change type. Yeah, it should be text, already text. And then let's see if I have a numeric column here. Store type, store name, store city, store states, store country, store phone. Yeah, first open date. So this one's, so I'm going to use auto detect to change this to number. Okay. So there are quite numerous ways we could do a lot of things in Power Query. So same thing like I did, right click to change the date. using local. Takes a while. So change it to dates and then look for English USA. Yeah, this is good for me. And then I click on OK, just to double check that there are no other transformation I might need to do here. Store name, street address, store state, store country, store phone. Okay, so I'm fine with this. So I'm moving on to the region lookup. So the region lookup is in numbers, and I'm not okay with that. So I'm just going to change that to text. Yeah, you can replace as long as you don't throw up an error. So I'll move on to the products table. So the product ID is violating this. So I need to change this to text. Change type and then text. Can replace just those throw an error. So in my recyclable, this is meant to be 1 for yes and basically empty for no, but we have no, so it's very, very easy. I'm going to be replacing them with 0. Good, this works for me. Same thing on this low fat column. So I do 0, so that works. So product retail price, product SKU, I'm going to change that to text. Yeah, I'm good. So now the customer lookup table, customer ID, customer account number. So I'm going to change that to text. Yeah, I can replace customer postal code. Okay, customer postal code also. Change type to test. Yes, you can replace. Customer country, birth dates. So I'm going to change this to change type, use local. Takes a while. Good. So click on dates, and then the origin is United States. So, and if you're wondering like why am I, using local, like why I'm not just doing direct. So there's a little bit different, like there's a little bit like, different convention in the way the people from US or North America, write their dates. We in Nigeria and Europe, we write ours as date, day, the month, and year, which is the same as like saying like day, month, and year. But for them, they have months, then day and year. So if I try and use that, it's going to like, throw a lot of error. So that is why I'm, doing that and then not to get that kind of error. So now this Foodman transaction, first and first, I'm going to be naming it to, this is the return. So I'm just going to rename to say returns instead. And then we also have a dates column and then a couple of numeric column we need to change to text. So change type, click on text. Yeah, I can replace, just don't throw up an error. So same thing here, return dates, change type, and then using local. So I'm going to click on dates, English, United States. Yeah, so this works for me. So I'm going to click on OK. Okay. So now there's one thing left. If we go here to the customer lookup table, we have a birthday column here. We have a birthday column, which I think the list here is 1910. So we can see here 1910. So if I'm to use the built-in feature of Power Pivots to do a date table, it's going to create a date table from 1910. So I'm not going to be using that. I'll be creating my own date table here. So I'm just going to be duplicating the transaction table. So that's duplicated. I name it to calendar. Rename this to date. And then I remove other columns. So while that is done, I also remove duplicates. So yeah, should be good to an extent. So I make sure on the add column tab, because we have so there's a little bit of difference between transformation done under the transform tab and add column tab. So if you are new to Power Query or like you use Power Query, you'll be able to relate to what I'm saying. So transformation done under the transform tab, let me just show you. So let's say I want to extract the year now. I'm going to click on year, and now my date column turns to year, and I don't have the original date date column. So transformation, when you do a transformation under the transform tab here, you get a modified column, and then you kind of like lose your old data. So I'm going to click out, make sure I'm on add column, and then I do for year. So I'm okay with the naming, click again, add column, and then I'll do months, which is equivalent to month number. So for now, I'm okay with these guys. I would be leveraging the DAX in Power Pivot to get the month name, the year month, because I'm a fan of the format DAX we have in Power Pivot. So I wait for this guy to load. So the first part of the Power BI workflow we are replicating is almost done. So if there are any questions, if there are any question in the chat, someone can let me know. So now we have two options here. We have close and load to, and then we have close and load with dot dot dot. So there's we should know like I would like to explain like the difference. So for close and load here, if you are to press on close and load, what's going to happen is that we are dumping the clean data into a new Excel sheet, and no, that's not what we want. We don't want that. So I'm going to close and load and add it to the data model and establish a connection. So I'm just going to create connection and then add this to data model. So it's quite interesting why we do this. So the normal Excel has I think in terms of row, there's a million row limit, and in terms of column, there's like 16,000. And even though, like, let's say they say it is a million row by 16,000 columns, if you've ever worked with large data before, by the time you're getting to 100,000 of rows, your Excel is actually like, slowing up. So with Power Query, instead of just dumping in data, we can just, establish a connection and just add it to the data model. So we are kind of like, have more data to deal with, and the limits in terms of rows and columns we have in Excel, we don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to click on add this to data model. So which brings us to, for those of us that don't have the Power Pivot, it's quite easy for if we want to bring that in. So once this load, I'm going to be walking us through that.
Hello, Quzeem, we have a question here.
Okay.
So
I'm all
someone
ears.
said, okay, please, I did not get your reason for using local instead of a direct date change type.
A direct change type as well.
Like the change dates change. Like why are you not using the direct one? The direct date change type.
Okay. Okay, it all boils down to the origin of the data. So the way my own Power Query and Excel is set up, it understands dates in the format of, if you are providing like anything dates, it has to come in the format of day, which is DD, and then day, month, and year. So I have a bit of contextual like knowledge that this data is coming from the United States, and they have another convention of writing their dates, which is month, day, and year. And we have like 1 to 12 months, like we like 1 to 12. So my data now, for where there is 1 to 12, it will be okay. But for anywhere there's like a violation, maybe okay, now we have 30 days in the month, and my Excel is expecting in the month column something that exits 12 and then it's getting 30, it's going to throw like a lot of errors. So that is what I'm trying to avoid, because I know that this data is coming from the US. So I just changed the data type based on the locality of origin of the data. So that is why I did what I did, and I hope that answers this person's question. So moving on, for this data model guy, to bring it in, I'm going to go to file. I already have it, but I'm just trying to, show us how we can do that if we don't have it already. You go to file, you click on options, and then you go to add-ins here. So I click on this guy. It's taking a while. Okay, so I have this. So now under this bottom here, you see that we have Excel add-ins. We don't want the Excel add-ins. We want the comps add-in, which is components object model. So they are kind of like add-ins that allows us to do advanced data analysis, and stuff like that. And then you make sure you have your Microsoft Power Map for Excel ticked, and then most importantly, Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel also, ticked. So that's just how to like activate the Power Pivot data tab here. So I'm just going to click on cancel because I have it already. So now I'm going to click on Power Pivot, and then I'm going to click on manage to go to the data model. So this data that I've brought in here, I would like to establish a relationship between them without writing any SLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index match. So I'll just be doing a drag and drop because I understand the basis of the relationship. So now I'm going to click on diagram view. Now these are all my data I brought in from different sources. I have the returns, I have my product lookup, I have my region, I have my store, and then I have my transactions. So we are going to be following a bit of a star schema here. So to just explain what star schema means, so star schema is kind of like, the way we model our relationship, in the sense that we have a facts table and then we have a dimension table. So, and in a star schema, your dimension table don't have a dimension table. So when your dimension table is having like a dimension table, then it turns to a snowflake schema. So that's just like, the difference in a nutshell, basically. So I think it's still remaining one, my calendar table. Yeah, so this guy here, he was hiding. So I could just put it somewhere below here. So it's almost looking like a star. So first thing first, I would, okay, I'm going to establish a relationship between all these tables. So where do we start from? Connect store ID to store ID. So it's loading. So this works. So for the region lookup, drag it here. So now this is what I'm talking about, like, difference between star schema and snowflake schema, why they are kind of like similar. This is a dimension table here, and then this dimension is also like, having another dimension. So this is to an extent, this is kind of like a mixed, which make it of a snowflake schema. So the product ID to the product lookup table. So it has to be one at a time. Excel won't allow me to do multiple at once. So customer ID to customer. So what else? I'm going to drag the date to the transaction date. So this works for me. So the return date to the date table. So store ID. Yeah. So I'm just going to move this guy here. Yeah, so it's a little bit better. So I'm going to go to the design tab until I need to mark as a date table. I want to use my calendar table as a date table. So he's asking me, what do you want to do? So yeah, I'm going to mark it as a table. It has picked it up already. So I'm going to click on OK. So let me just confirm my modeling is okay. So one to many, one to many, one to many, one to many. It's always good to avoid a many to many relationship because they lead to ambiguity, and then you won't be able to, like, let's say control the results. So it's always better to have many to one or like one to many. So I'll go to the home and then the data view. Starting with my calendar, I need the month's name. So like I said before, I want to, take advantage of the format function here, which is kind of like a DAX. So format, have, so click on this guy. I want the month's name in short form. So yeah, I like this. I want to rename it to months. Okay, so this works for me. So I also like to have the months here. So I'll do equals to same format function. Click on tab, then one of the dates value here, comma. So I would like to have MMM, then here, close, and then enter. So it takes a while. So I'm going to name this year month.
So hi, cousin. There's another question here for you.
Okay, I'm all yes.
Why are you not combining first region TPL to store TPF first to avoid the snowflake schema? So the region and the store, why are you not combining it together?
Okay, so one of the benefits Snowflake schema has over, like, if you are going to be doing that, so that we are going to be having like a strictly star schema. But the one thing Snowflake schema has over star schema is the fact that if I'm changing anything from the store, it's only let's say the store appears 5 times, like on the store column. It's only going to get changed that particular times. But if I'm having it like where it is like repeated more than once, like if you have to do the math, so in terms of let's say how it is advised to be done, it can always like lean to like a snowflake schema because in terms of resource allocations, maybe money and all that is why. So I'm just trying to stick for if I need to change anything in the store, it just changes the number of times it's changed like distance wise. But if we have done a math and we need to change anything there, then it repeats. But it's also fine. But I'm just sticking to Snowflake schema because it's just convenient and the data here are actually not much. So I'm going to be creating a year month sort to help sort this year month column. I'll call it year month key. But first, let me call the format function again. I'll click on tab, then one of the dates column here, comma. So I'll have year, then month, and then close. So I'll call it year month key. So I'll call this year month key. So I'll click on enter. So one thing I really like about Power Pivot and then replicating the Power BI workflow in Excel is the fact that there are some peculiar stuff, things that are peculiar to Power BI that we are kind of like doing here. So for instance, this month column now, I'm going to be sorting it by month now. Same thing for the year month. So I'm going to go to under design. Is it under design or advanced? Okay. Sometimes they move. Okay, it's here. It's under the things around and then you don't know. Sort by column. So I'm going to be sorting by month now. So okay. So this works for me. It's going to take a while. It didn't take that much. And from the year month, I'm going to be sorting it by the year month key. Okay, so this works for me. So now we are going to move on to creating our measure. So let's just have a glance at what we have in the final dashboard here. So if you notice, we have total revenue. Clean this guy. So if you notice, we have total revenue, we have total profits, we have total orders, we have total returns. So that's what we are going to be creating. And just below them, we have this their previous month, their month-on-month measure. So this one is 7.31 based on the last month in the data, 7.31, 7.29, 7.37. So we are going to be creating these measures in. I'm going to be creating them here. So first thing first here now, I would like to create the revenue. So revenue, I'm typing here on this where it is green, but it's reflecting in the formula bar, right? So that is how it works. So and to define the measure, why it may look a little bit unconventional that I'm starting with the column, that is how we define the measure in Power Pivot. As long as the Power Pivot is consigned and you want to define a measure here, you need to precede the equal sign with a colon. So the revenue, I have the quantity, but then revenue is basically like, quantity and then the retail price, but the retail price is in the products table. So I'm going to using a DAS function called SumX, it's an iterator function. So I'm going to click on tab and then the table I'm working on should be transactions. Click on that and then quantity. So yeah, okay, can do transaction quantity star. So here's the cash here. The related the retail price is located in the products lookup table here at the bottom. So if I try typing retail, it's not going to show. But with the help of a function called related, which is not available in the normal Excel. So I'm going to do related, and the related now is going to, okay, I'm doing this multiplication based on a related column that has a relationship with this, with this table. So it's asking me for the column name that is related to it. So I'm just going to type retail. So it's going to suggest it for me, and then I'm okay with this. So now I can see that I have my revenue. I'm going to widen it a little bit, and then I'm going to format it as currency, English, United States, and automatically it assumes to two decimal places, which I don't have a problem with. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a previous month's measure. So I'm going to do previous month's revenue. So as always, if you want to create a measure in Power Pivot, you need to precede it with a colon and then your equals to. So I'm going to using calculate. And if you come from a Power BI background, you will notice that these functions I'm using, some X related, are things that are Power BI related and just strictly for Power BI. But now we have that in Excel, no extra subscription. We just have it here as, built as a built-in feature as an add-in. So enough of talking, calculate, the expression should be revenue, click on tab, and then the filter, I'm going to use date add to roll it back by a month. So click on date add, and then the column, I'm going to be using the calendar date because it's my dates table. Come down here, tab, and then the interval should be -1 because I'm going back a month. I'm trying to calculate the previous month, and then the interval itself is the month. So this works for me, and then I click on enter. Okay, so this is nice. So I have it. I'm going to format it as I did with the revenue itself. So two decimal places, I'm okay with this. And I want to do the month-on-month measure also. So I'm going to call it MOM for revenue. So as always, precede it with a colon. So this time around, I'm going to be using the divide function. And the numerator is going to be revenue minus previous month's revenue. Then comma, divided by previous month revenue. So the month-on-month measure basically, okay, and it's going to ask for in case if we start from January, so there's not going to be for a month-on-month for January. So instead of us to, not have anything, I can just tell it to give me 0. So while that might not be true, but I still prefer to have it as 0. So this should be in decimal. I'm going to format it to percentage, and then 2 decimal places should be fine with me. So now we've done this with revenue, and then I would like to calculate profit also. But to calculate profit, I need cost, because profit is basically your revenue minus cost. This revenue is same thing as sales. So I'm going to do total costs. So, okay, this doesn't look good. Total costs colon equals to sum x tab. The table is still the transactions. Click on tab, comma, quantity times related. So I'm going to type cost. So and it's going to bring it up for me and then click on enter. So even though I don't close, okay, this one works, this works. So I'm going to widen so I can see what I just created. So and then I format to 2 decimal places. Yeah, so this is too much. Yeah, so this works for me. So now I can calculate the profit measure. So I'm just going to call it profit equals to, which is going to be the revenue minus total cost. So widen it a little bit to see how much we've made. So and then I'm going to click on currency and format it as dollar. So like we did for revenue, we are going to be creating the previous month's measure for profits, which is quite easy.
So someone said, can you calculate month-to-month revenue using the last month of the previous year? That
Can
is
we
going to
calculate
be
what?
the month-to-month revenue using the
Yes.
last month from the previous year, like same period last year. I think the same period last year, not month-to-month. Calculate month-to-month revenue using the last month from the previous year, same period
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, yeah, as long as you know your DAX function, you can always, do anything. You just need to have your date table and then you understand what you want to do. So if you want to see, like, let's say month to month for like a particular year, there's a DAX for that, maybe like parallel period, same period last year and stuff like that. But I'm only interested in seeing like the previous month here. So that is what I'm trying to do. So calculate profits. So the expression should be date add. So now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to do a rollback. Like I want to have, excluding the current month, I want to see what we have in the previous month. So that is why I'm using date add. There are other like that function, but like I'm using date add and then it has never disappointed me. So I'm always like, going with it. So I'll do -1, comma, and then the interval should be month. And then pick this guy. So currency. So I'm going to do month-on-month profits. So it might be a little bit slow here, but like I'm not like too beautiful. But let's just see through it together. We could actually create all these measures in the pivot table, but there's like, let's say you can't reuse the measures outside that particular pivot table we are creating. So that is why we are going through this like, not so beautiful process of like, creating all our measures here. So for the month-to-month profit, I'm going to be using the divide function. So the numerator should be profit minus the previous month's profit, comma, divided by the previous month profit. And then I would like to have a 0 for where we have a 0 division error. So we've just been doing sum all over. Let me change this to 2 decimal places. Yeah, so this works. So we've just been doing sum and sum and sum. So let's do total orders. So total orders. So there's no unique there's no primary key from our orders table. So I'm just going to be using a count function to count the transaction date. So I'm going to do this. So I don't need to format this, it's its number, and then I'm okay with this. So I'm just going to go down click on this guy to do previous months, previous months orders, column equals to calculate. So assuming I was interested in previous year, it should just be calculate total orders to be total orders, then date add instead of months, and we are going to put dates, but we are doing previous months. So we are just going to stick to what we have been doing. So -1, and then we are going back by a month. Okay. So I think this works. So I have 1, 2, 3. So month on month, orders. So it has to be divide. Numerator should be total orders minus previous month's orders. Good, comma, divided by the previous month orders. 0. No, we are not done. Close, and then it's add an additional brackets for me. So congratulations, we are done with creating measures in the transaction table. So we are left with one, which is the return. So I'm just going to go to the returns. So I'm going to do total returns. So I'm just going to do count, then return. Yeah. So this works for me. Can you help me, someone? So I'm just going to do previous months.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Previous months returns. Thanks very much. So do calculate returns, comma. Total returns, date add, calendar date, comma, -1, then month. Okay, I'm going to click on this 10. So this works. So the last one, and not the least, month on months, returns. I'll do divide. Numerator should be total returns minus, okay, sorry, tab minus previous month's returns, tab, comma, previous month's returns, tab, comma, 0, and then comma, and then enter. So I think in terms of all the basic measures we are going to need, I think we are done for now. So just going to have a look at it once again before I leave this window. So we could also create an average order value, which is just going to be like the total orders, the total revenue divided by like the count, but in this visual I have here, there's no average order value. So we won't be doing that. So for my year, I don't think I need quarter. I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this. So this works for me. So I can just insert a pivot table. So I could do a pivot chart, but I like direct, but I like to, have like a calculation page for as a reference to see where the numbers are coming from. So whoever I'm sharing the reports with doesn't feel like, oh, like where is this number coming from? Like where is the source? And I don't want them to, let's say, have access to the model. So let me just click on pivot table. And then it's going to ask me, yeah, an existing sheets. I'm fine with this. And then click on this guy here. I would like this to start from B. So I'll click on OK. Okay, so we have this. So looking at my time here, I can see that there's not much time. So we might not be able to do the wireframing. I don't know, but I could show us here. So this is the wireframing, like this is the inspiration. I went online and I searched on Dribble. So I have this guy here, just rectangles, rectangles, rectangles. So while I was done, the next thing I did was just Control A to group, and then I exported out to Excel. So okay, so I'm just going to click on this guy, then do Control C, open my Excel, so I can just paste it here then. And then it just fits right at the center of the page. So let's start with creating our let's see, aggregation. Let's take an inspiration from here. So total revenue for the card visual, we have total revenue, profits, order, and total returns. So I'm going to start in that order. So we open the transaction table, and then if you scroll down, the measures we create in the transaction table will be found in the transaction table, and the measures I created in the returns table will find in the return table. So okay, let's start with total revenue. Drag it to values. So the next one should be profits, and then total orders and total returns. So I'm going to go to the returns table and drag the returns there. So I'm okay with this. Okay, this worked for me. So these two here, I would like 1,000 separator. So I do Control 1 shortcuts better than, okay, do number and then 1,000 separator, no decimal places. So I'm good. Okay, it requires just basically, that's good. So now we have the 1,000 separators here. So we have things are beginning to, to look like what we are going to need. So EWG. So the next thing we need to create here are these icons 7.31, 7.31, 7.29, 7.37. So they are basically the previous month. So we are going to be creating the previous month aggregation also. So for me, one thing I like to do is I like to name my pivots table. So what this allows me to do is like it allows me control the interactivity of my slicers. Let's say, for instance, now I have a country related visual. Like I have in that, I have like a bar chart. I have Mexico, USA, and Canada, and I also want to have like a country slicers. And I don't want the country slicers to, interact with the country visual. So with this me naming the pivots table, I can, not select them to interact with each other. So that said, I'm just going to name this card. I'm going to name it card. Then I come here, I insert another pivot table. So this is very, very interesting. And if it was normal Excel, I'll be using like a range. So I just click on data model. I don't need to copy and paste the pivot table to have it pop up. I click on OK. So I want to do the previous month. So I'll go to transaction. Okay, I'm not doing the previous month here. We are doing the month to month. So I'm going to do month to month revenue 7.31%. I'll do month-to-month profits, month-to-month orders, and then the last but not the least, I'm going to do month-to-month returns. So taking a look at the dashboard we have here, you could see that there's a formatting peculiar to them. Anything greater than 0 basically is showing green. So I'm going to be doing here at the source. I'm going to select this guy. So these guys were not formatted as percent. So let's say I'm interested in going back to my data model. I could do this here, but I just prefer to do it in the source. So I can click on manage. And then I'm going to open month-on-month orders. Formats, click as percentage. So it's 2. to confirm. Okay, this works. So maybe it's in returns. Okay, so I'll click on percentage. Yeah, so this works for me. So I could just close still the same thing. So it's going to load and then it's going to reflect. So I'm just going to select this guy here and then I want to do, it's not conditional formatting like per se, but I'm just going to do like a manipulative formatting for how they will show. So I will just do Ctrl+1. So right here now we could see it's currently under custom change for percentage. So the first part is like, you notice there's a colon here. You might not see it if you don't zoom in. So I'm going to say for when it is greater than 0, I want a color green, a dark green. So, and that is equivalent to color 10. I also want an optic arrow. So I'm going to have this guy here. And when it is negative, as you can see here, there's a minus here. I'm going to do a color red. So I'm just going to type that out. And then I want a down tick arrow. So I'll do window V once again to open my clipboard. And then I'm going to click on this guy and then close and then say OK. And then voila, you can see now we have them in green because they're all greater than 0. So I can just bold it a little. So that's about it for these guys over here. So still on the card visual, we still need to do one thing. We will notice that here now is the revenue month on month. This also is revenue month on month, the month on month for profit. So we have this MOM. So we are going to be doing that now. So now I'm going to do another pivot table. Go to insert from data model. It's going to pop up, yeah, where I'm currently selecting. So I'm going to open up my calendar. I'll drag in the year month. Yeah, I'll drag in the year month. I'll drag into the row value. And then I will drag in the month on month. So I'll start with the month on month for revenue. So this works for me. I would have named this month. Let me just name it month. Let me name it year month. So year month on month revenue. So I'll just come here and do the same thing for profit from data model. Okay. And then calendar, year month, and then look for profit. Yeah, month on month profit. So same thing. I could just copy this guy here, Ctrl C, do Ctrl V, drag month on month profit out, look for month on month for total orders. We have MOM orders, good. And then last but not the least, I have for Ctrl C, Ctrl A, Ctrl C, so Ctrl V. So I'm going to do for returns. So drag out, open the returns, look for the month on month returns measures, and here we go. So the essence of this is to have this guy here. If you are going to be creating that now. So I'm just going to have one of them selected. I'll do insert. I'll do recommended charts. So it recommends it for me, but I don't want this. I'll prefer to have an area chart. So yeah, not bad. I can manage this. Let's see if I can. Maybe there's a difference. Okay, I'm okay with the first one. I'll just click on OK. So I'm going to remove the grid lines. I don't need them. And then switch off these field buttons. I don't need all these. I don't need all this. I don't need all this. I don't need this also. and I don't want it to, okay, Ctrl Z, just click on it. Under format, I don't want it to have a fill and I don't want it to have an outline. Yeah, I don't want it to have an outline. So I'm going to make it really small. So Ctrl S, and then I'm just going to drag it here. Do Ctrl V. Yeah. So I can resize, can make it taller. So basically this works for me. So let's confirm it's the same color we have here. So to an extent, it's not bad. So let's just keep on doing what we are doing. Here, yeah, book 3 Excel. So for me, I like to name my sheets. I'm going to name these calculations, and then I'm going to call this the dashboard. So yeah. So I would like to bring in the revenue. So I will insert the text box. Okay, I was meant to do this before. Alt V, Alt W, V, G, remove the grid lines, and then I'm going to do this. So yeah, I'm good. Let's drag it a little bit here. So I'm going to insert the text box. So what this text box is basically doing, they are helping us simulate the card visual interactivity in Power BI. So I'm just going to click on the edge, come to this formula bar, click on equals to, and then go to calculations, and then click on revenue. So the only reason I'm not, if you've tried, referencing directly from, let's say, a pivot table, you're actually meant to get an error. But here is how to avoid that kind of error. So make sure you have a cell from the pivot table selected. Go to pivot table analyze, and then under options, make sure this is unticked. So that way you'll be able to reference things from the pivot table without having Excel screen at you basically. So revenue is let me check the cell for revenue. Revenue is B4, profit is C4. So I don't want this guy to have a fill. So I'm going to go to shape format, shape fill. I also don't want any outline. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this guy here. I'm going to make it bold. Yeah, bold now. So I'm just going to duplicate, and then I will drag. So I would like to make it white. Make it white. Yes. So I'm also going to duplicate, then duplicate. So just move it here. Move it here. And then move it here. So this should be for revenue. This should be for revenue, profits, orders, and total returns. So let me create another text box for the header. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to call it total revenue. So make it bold, shape format, no fill, and then no outline also. So I'm just going to bring this guy here. Okay, and comparing it to the dashboard, I think it's not dark. It's let's say a little bit of ash over here. So okay, Ctrl Z, then do this guy here. Yeah, so yeah, okay, this is not still a little bit. Yeah, I think this is better. So I'm just going to Ctrl D. So this is going to say profits instead of revenue. Total profit. Click on the edge, duplicate. This is beautiful. Drag a little bit. This should be total orders. Okay, click on the edge, Control D to duplicate, and then you have total returns. And from the inspiration, these are meant to be white, so I'm just going to select collectively and then make them white. Yeah, so things are looking to make sense. So we have this trend line, this supposed trend line for revenue. We are going to do the same now for total profits. So total profits should be C3. So come here, click on enter. So total orders should meant to be D3. And then I click. So it's reverting back to the dark from the source. So this one is B, C, D, E. This should be E3. So I'll just format them all at once again, change them to white. Yeah, and then make them bold. So I'm good. So the next thing is to try and create, to replicate this for profits, orders, and then returns. So here comes, I'll click on this, just click on one, insert, recommended charts, area. Yes, I'm going with the first one. Okay, this is good. Okay, let me just do Ctrl X. I'll paste it here. Let's see if I can use format. Okay, I can't. Okay, I can. Let's see if I can use format painter to get a little bit of manipulative here. Not that much was done. So all I'm just doing is just clicking on the axes I don't need, and then I get to delete them. So I could just check the size of this under formats 3.18 and 3.18 and 3.76. So I'll just do 3.18, 3.76. So no fill. And then I also don't want outline. And I'll be changing the color. So just to compare, yeah, come here, too much, just come down a little bit. This is beautiful. So I would like to compare the actual color. So I have something like orange here. So I hope that is orange. I'm not so good with colors. So I'm just going to, I can use this home here. And then on the fill, yeah, I think this guy works for me. So this is nice. So it's looking like we are getting somewhere with hit our replicating dashboard. So I'll go back here. I'll do for others, inserts, recommended charts, disregard and went and go for area. Click on OK. So someone, if there are any questions, please let me know. So switch up the field buttons. These ones, I don't need them. I don't need them. They are not needed. They are not needed. So I can do 3.18 and then 3.76. So Ctrl S, dashboard, paste. So I'm going to do format. I don't want a fill for the shape. And also don't want a color for the outline. So what's the color over here? So this one is a bit of yellow. So I'm going to click on yellow. I prefer to use this guy from the home tab. So I'm just going to click on yellow. So we are getting somewhere really. So last but not the least is for total returns. So I'm going to come here, insert, recommended charts, disregard area, click on OK, format 3.16, and then maybe 3.78, I guess. So pivot, I don't want you guys. Okay, I need to expand a little bit to remove these guys. Click. I don't want straight lines. I don't want the y-axis, neither the x-axis. I don't want total. So Ctrl X, dashboard, paste, format, shape fill, none, and then the outline also should be none. So just click on this edge to drag. So 3.16, and then maybe 3.78 or 76. So I move it to the side. Good. So I think this one should be red. So I'm going to click on this under Home tab and then switch to red. Okay. Okay. So I'm just trying to make sure that they are on the same line here. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything too much, basically. Yeah, so this works for me. So the next thing we need to bring in this previous month. No, these icons, this month or month increase at the glance. So we will not be using a text box in the sense that let me show, okay, there's not enough time. So let me just do the. So we're not using a text box because if we try and use a text box only retain it disregard the formatting we have, like this green and then the optic arrow or downtick arrow based on the interactivity from our slicers. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be copying and then we'll paste it as a linked image. So I'm going to come here and then say paste as a linked image. So now, and if you notice here now, I have this blue stuff, so I don't want that. So I'm just going to go to calculations and then under pivot table design, I'm going to switch to lights to remove that annoying stuff at the top. I also confirm that I don't want a border. So I'll do no border. Good. So now I think that should not be there again. So it's not. So this is nice for me. So this should be for total revenue. Good. So based on the previous month, there's a 7.31 increase. I'm going to be doing the same for total profits. Control C, dashboard, Control V, paste as an image. Yeah, okay, no problem. Control Z, just come here. So Control C once again. So yeah, so this works. So 7.31. Okay, let me move it a little bit here. Good. Good for me. So I'll do the same thing with others, Control C, and then I paste as a linked image. So the last but not the least, Control C, dashboard, Control V, change to image, escape, Control Z. Let's just paste directly, Control C, paste special, then linked. Takes a while. So we are pretty much done for the card visuals. So we are going to be moving on to the next part of whatever we have here. So this works. So I'm just going to take a sneak peek at what we want to do here. So for this chart, I have the revenue by month. So I'm just going to go back and do revenue by month also. So revenue and profits by month, scroll down, let's do it over here. So like I said, I like to name my pivot table. So I'm going to do MOM month on month rev. Call it month on month rev. I'll call this month on month profit. Call these month on month orders. And then month on month returns. So I'm going to go to the dashboard. Okay, so the next thing I want to create another pivot table. Insert pivot table, data model. Yes, this is what I want. So open the calendar. I want the month. Yeah, so this works for me. And then I would like to have revenue and profit. So transaction, revenue, and then profit. So yeah, this works for me. I'm just going to read. And then rename it to months. So I'm also going to rename this pivot table. So I'll call it monthly rev and profit. Month rev and profit. So I'm going to click on insert, recommended. Yeah, okay, I can go with this. I don't mind. So clean. I don't need the field buttons. So let me just Ctrl X here. Move to the dashboard. Sorry. So this is basically the essence of the wireframe. It's like a skeleton, and we just put in the blood, the water, and other stuff we might need. So for the formats, I'll be going with no fill and no outline. And then same for outline, I'll do no outline. So here, our audience can't see, so I'm going to change it to white. And I'm also going to change this to white, and then also bold it. And if you have a look at this is a little bit of purple, I guess. So I'm going to be changing that to purple. So help me God, I'm not good with colors. Okay. Okay. So I'll just go to this place and get the actual color code itself. Okay. So here, I'm going to create a shape. So I'll just create a shape so that I can get the actual color. So any shape, and then eyedropper, purple. So this works. I'm going to click on the color, more colors, custom. Yeah. So Control A, Control C, tab. Yeah. So I'll go to here, more colors, custom, Control A, Control V. And then we should be good. So something is missing here. We don't have an header. So let's see if I can do a chart title. So yes, I'm going to rename this guy and say I don't know what I should name this. Monthly. Okay, monthly revenue monthly revenue and profit trend. So Control A, make it white to be legible, then bold it. And I'm going to drag this small guy up here. And then I'm going to expand to the left. Yeah, this works for me. So I'm also going to make it white and bold. And I will just give the chart itself like a more wiggle room here. Yeah, so that's one part done. So next thing we need to do, another proportion by country, revenue by store type, another proportion by country. Let me confirm that I have this renamed. So yeah, another proportion by country. I'll click on here. Yeah, other proportion by country. Insert, pivot
Hello,
table.
Quzeem.
Yes, I'm with you.
When you have 5 minutes more.
Okay, I'll see if I can close it out then.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I would say if it's gonna take more than 5 minutes to complete it, no worries, you can go on. Since it's been recorded, if people go, they can watch the recording so that
Okay,
you know
okay.
you completed your thing instead of breaking it into multiple sessions.
Okay, that works for me. Thanks.
All right.
And then I'll do this by orders. So the replication, takes quite a lot. So that is why we are taking longer than expected. And we also didn't do wireframing, so I'm sorry. So I would like to see this by total orders. So I'm going to do insert, recommended charts. I'll go with pie, donuts. So I'm going to switch off the field buttons. Okay, I don't want any fill and I don't want any outline. So no fill and then no outline. So let's do a Ctrl X, dashboard, Ctrl V. So I'm just going to resize a little once more, then try and bring it here. So yes, this works for me. So I'll move this guy a little bit to the bottom, then move this guy a little bit to the top. Nope, that's the interaction I want. So click on new. Yeah, I can move. So I would also move these guys to the bottom, and then I stretch them, and then collapse. So I'm going to do a Ctrl B and then change the font to white. So since we have purple here, I'm also going to change this guy to purple also. So let's change it to purple. So right click to format data series, format data point, if that's what you call it. So fill. So it's blue. I would like to change it to this purple. So yeah, that works. So, and then I think I call it order proportion. Order proportion by country. So country A, reduce it a little bit, make it white, make it bold. Then I just drag it up. So right click, I would like to insert the data label. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this guy out a little bit. Same here, and then same here. So I'd like to change this to percentage. So click on here. I'll change them to white at a glance. make them bold. So I would like this to be percentage and not the value because we have them lying around here. So click out, make it percentage. So it's doing it one by one. This is annoying. Click on this, click on this, click out value, make it percentage. So yeah, I'm good. So let's see the other stuff replicates. Not here. So I have revenue by store type. So I'm just going to come here and do another pivot table. Insert pivot table, data model. Yeah, existing worksheets. This works for me. So revenue by store type. The store type should be under the store lookup. Yep. Drag it to rows and then revenue. So just going to call this store type. Okay, no need to rename it. I'll do this here. Rev by store type. So let me also confirm I have this name. Others by country. So I'm going to insert an horizontal bar chart recommended. No, I want a bar. And I would like to have them sorted. So let me just click on OK. So right click here, click on one, right click. Okay, right click, sort. I'm not sorting, just do more sort options. Okay. Okay. Coming. Yeah, this is what I'm okay. It's a bit small to largest because this is not like the normal column chart. So yeah. So this works for me. Pivot table, no field buttons, and I don't want any grid lines. And the total is redundant. Same for this also. So I can do a Ctrl X, do a dashboard, Ctrl V. Try and shrink it to this level. Yeah, so I don't want any fill and I don't want an outline. No fill. And then no outline. So we make this white to make it legible. Bold. And I think we called it revenue by store type. Revenue by store type. So Ctrl A, make it white, make it bold. So there are no values here. Right click. Okay, I don't need to right click. The data labels. Click on them. I want them inside and I want it bold and then as white. So this works for me, but then the color, I want to change the color. So I'm going to go to fill. From blue, I'm going to pick this purple here. So just one more chart and then the slicer. So we have revenue by country. So I could do that at the bottom here. Insert, pivot table from data model. Existing was checked. So revenue by country. The country should be in the store lookup. Yeah, store country. And then we have the revenue, yes. Revenue should be in transaction. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be in columns, and then the month should be in rows. So calendar, and then we should have months. So this works for me. So I need to rename it. So let's say rev by month, then by country. Then I'm going to insert a recommended chart and change it to a stack line chart. Okay, so any of this works for me actually, but I like to have these ticks. So I'm just going to click on OK. So I would love to remove all these grid lines. Switch off the fill buttons, Ctrl X, and Ctrl V, Ctrl Z. So I'm going to resize. So format will be no fill, and then outline will be no outline. So I change this color to white. Same thing here to white. Okay, let me bold, white, bold. Okay. Can also make this white and also bold. So I'm going to add a title. I don't know what to call it, but let's see. So monthly revenue by country. Yeah, so this works for me. So all we are left to do is to just bring in our slicers. Let's say this one is named. Yeah, this guy is named. So I have a yes slicer. So we'll make sure one thing is selected. Insert. Where's my slicer? All. So I'm going to click on here. Should be done soon. I would have to have the year slicers, the country, yeah, the store country, and what else again? I would like to have the store type, yeah, the store type, and then I click on OK. So yeah, so this works for me basically. But I don't like the formatting of this one. They are kind of like ruining all the work we've done in terms of designing our dashboard and making it like it's Power BI. So let's try and see what we could do. So first, I would love to confirm that these are the slides I have here. Canada, okay, this is good. So I'm just going to pick on this, and then I'm going to work from there. So right click to modify. Okay, we duplicate first. So the old slicer. So here's the catch. I would like for the slicers to blend with this guy here on the right hand side. Let me show us from here. So I would like the slicer to have this fill from this winning side. So I have this guy selected. I would pick on eyedropper and then just click on this guy. More color to copy the X code. Yeah, so Ctrl A, Ctrl C, and then OK. Tab, yeah, book 3. So now I can format. So click on duplicate the old slicer. So I want the old slicer to be, I want this particular fill, custom, Click on OK. And maybe the font should be white. Okay, coming. Yeah, let's make the font a little bit white. Then I click on OK. So it's showing here. So the slicer header, same thing, format, let's make it white. And then the fill, more colors, custom. So I don't want any border, so I'm going to click on none. Okay, sorry, that was a connectivity issue, but now I'm back. So selected item with data, I'm going to click on formats. Let's see, border, I don't want any border. The font is black, okay. The fill, okay, let's see. Okay, so selected items with data. Okay, I'm just going to change everything to fill to say this guy. Colors. So this to an extent is like let's say try and error. So I keep iterating. If I see something is wrong, I do it again. So this is conflicting. Maybe make it a little bit harsh. So click on OK. Yeah, so it's better now. So selected items with no data formats. I don't want any border, so let's start with that. Using more colors, and if I'm wrong, we would iterate again over that. Click on OK. The font is currently set. Maybe I can do something gray. And then OK. So selected items with data. I would like for it to be bold. So I'll click on bold. So unselected item with no data to data. Format, fill, more colors, custom, Ctrl A, Ctrl V. Okay. A font, let's see. No, we can't have that. So maybe something like this. And then click on OK. No border, please. So unselected item with data. Okay. Unselected item with no data. Issue that one and then none. Then the fill, color, custom, Ctrl A, Ctrl V, click on OK, and then let's see. And now let me click on and see what it looks like. Okay, there's something wrong. Okay, so we just need to reiterate. I'll modify. Unselected item with data. This should be the fill, I guess. I don't want anything to block. Okay. Okay. Selected item with data format. Like I have a little bit of this guy. Click on OK. So okay, so I'm just going to make the font black then. Yeah, selected item with data font. I'll make it let's say, yeah, let's say black. Yeah, so like yeah, so this works for me. So our next thing is we can still manage all these guys here. To action. So for the EF slicers, I want it to be connected to everything. So I'm just going to be selecting everything over here. So we should be able to round off in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to click on OK. So for the store country, everything except for proportion and the monthly revenue by country. The store type, revenue by store type will not be affected. Select everything. So yeah, this works. We just need to insert the text box as a title over here. So I'm going to be calling it food sales dashboard. So country B, increase. And then just click on the edge. Shape format, no fill, and then no outline. Let's do yeah. So we could also insert icons from the insert star box. We won't be able to do that today. Time is not on my side, so no outline. So this is what we are trying to. We've recreated the dashboard here. So I'm going to do Ctrl S to save. Okay, I don't need to save. I already have this. So now, anytime this is our folder. Anytime this file changes here, or anytime another transaction data comes here, maybe for 1999, all we just need to do is go to the data tab. And then we click on refresh all, and that should be it. And now talking about the limitation, the limitations, I think is only so for 1998, we could see we made over 1.1 million, and this is what we have. Let's see for USA. Yeah, and then you could see like it's working as intended. For USA now, this is not getting filtered to only USA, which to me kind of like feels redundant. And same thing for this other proportion also. We could see like the comparison of like what's the bulk of our orders where it is coming from. So I'm going to be dropping this file for when the video is available, hopefully close of business tomorrow. So let me just go to the slide and then talk about the limitations of this workflow basically replicated. So now, if you're coming from a Power BI background, you will know that we have something we call like RLS, row level security, which starts from the modeling tab. And once you publish, so what RLS is like, you belong to you, or depending on how you got, if you're on the department level, you're able to see data for only your department. But as you can see now, anybody which is with can see the whole data and then everything. And there's this important feature we have in Power BI. So I'm going to open up my queries and connection. Double click on one. I want to show us here. So in LPAC, we have things we call HEPA queries, basically like things we have here that Power Query generated for us. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here, what we could do in Power BI is we could just right click and then there will be a feature called enable load. So you just stick out. That means they don't get loaded to your model. So one of the limitations we have with fully independent. That let's say a little bit, because in Power BI we have like a folder where we could add, the measures maybe like by profits, by cost, by revenue and stuff like that. But here we need to create them in each individual tables, and then sometimes it might get hectic, and then we might not be able to like transform them. So let me just go back and see if I have any questions in the chat so we can round up, because I've taken forever. And yeah, there are quite a lot of people here. So are there any question in the chat, Thelma, for me, so we can round up? And sorry for taking you guys time. Maybe in another session, we'll be doing like wireframing, so it doesn't look like we missed a step. So any question, please? Hello, Michael. Am I muted? Okay, I'm not muted. Okay, that's nice. I'm not muted. Okay. Okay, I have new messages. Please, what type of visual did you use? Area charts. Thank you. Please, I send you a collection. Okay, that works. Okay, the recording is going to be available on our YouTube channel. COB, and everybody that signed up for the meetup, you are going to get a mail for all the resources and everything. So we'll just check the link I just posted in chats. COB, close of business tomorrow around this time, it should be available. So any questions before we stop the recording and then I leave the chat? Yeah, the data sets. Okay, if it's okay, the data sets will be attached to the YouTube video. Yeah, I think we could make that happen. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Stop recording. So while we are still here, you can do also follow us on all our social media pages. Instagram, we drop shorts, interactive Excel, Power BI videos. So do also follow us on our platform. Just search for your research, and then that would be nice.
Thank you so much for the section, Quzeem. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us today. the recording and all the materials, which include the data and also the background and everything, is going to be dropped, so you can have access to it after today. So thank you, everyone. Bye bye.